What's up, traders? Hope you had a great trading day and a solid end to your trading week. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is AJ on Day Trader Boom or Bust. Let's jump right into this because I have a lot I'd like to talk about today. First, let's look at my watch list, which, as always, I post every day at 9:15 a.m. on my Twitter. So on the primary watch list, I had pins, which was trading on earnings, Snap, which was gapping down as I believe a bit of a sympathy play on pins, and then Tilray as a continuation play on the secondary list, DKNG, Workhorse, ACB, and SPCE, all on continuations because they have been moving the last few days. So that was my watch list. And I ended up trading 3 different tickers today. I traded pins, I traded Snap, and I traded Workhorse. So today was my best trading day of the week, and that statement is not based on my P&L, but on my actual trading. You can trade horribly and make money, and you can trade perfectly and lose money. The reason you work to trade well is that the probabilities of success tip significantly in your favor, because in trading, all we really have are probabilities. Because no one can know what the market is going to do, and the market doesn't know or follow rules. With that said, I did make some mistakes today to my detriment, but they were minor and I can live with them. My first trade was on Snap. So let me pull that up. Snap, here we go. All right. This is the 1-minute chart. So I'm going to switch over to the, well, actually, you know what? Let's stay on the 1 minute because I played this for a 1 minute opening. Was it a 1 minute opening range? Sorry, 1 second. Let me just take a look quickly on the 5-minute chart here. Yeah, no, it was on the 1 minute that I played this. Sorry. So let me just back up here. All right. So this was my first trade of the day. Pins opened up. The 1 minute candle was this upside down hammer. But after that hammer, it really shot up. I was, unfortunately, because of this hammer, I may have thought that this might actually sell off because it was trading right at this pre-market level. So I was probably looking at it the other way. Unfortunately, it went the other direction, and I wasn't quick enough to catch it. If I had caught it right at the break of this this initial 1 minute candle, this trade probably would have worked out. Unfortunately, I was a little late, caught it up here, and I ended up stopping out, as you can see here at the bottom when it came back down to the bottom of this candle. My actual hard stop loss was actually at the bottom of this wick, but I really didn't want to see it completely turn around. I didn't want to take a max loss on my first trade of the day, so I took this one off early. I'll talk a little bit about why well, let me explain now. When you have a red week like I've had, it's very possible to get a little jumpy and a little gun shy due to trying to avoid further losses. And that's what happened in this trade, and actually a couple of trades I'll talk about. Had I stuck to my plan, which is respected this hard stop loss, I wouldn't have got stopped out, and I would have got a really decent run up. This would have been a great trade as an opening range breakout. Now, had I got in also where I wanted to, which was right over here, this probably would have been non-issue because I would have been perfectly fine with a stop loss down probably around this pivot level, and then I would have let it run up. But anyways, that's what happened there. I got a little bit jumpy. I didn't want to see it, really come back on me, and I didn't want to take a max loss on my first trade. So unfortunately, I got out of that one, and that was a loser. No problem. That's fine. It happens. So what I did was after that 1 minute opening range, I shifted to 5 minute opening range, strategy, if we're going to kind of focus on that. And I looked at Workhorse. So let's take a look there. Oops, sorry. Okay, so yeah, so my second trade was on Workhorse. This is also one that I was happy about because although I was playing the long again, sorry, I actually have some notes here because there's a lot I want to talk about. Sorry. Yeah. This was a 5 minute opening range, and when I didn't see it break down below this 5 minute candle, I actually played it for a bounce because of these bottom wicks. I went long. Sorry about the confusion there. I went long. It went up, and I held because I really have been working on holding trades longer for a better return on my winning trades. I was virtually at this was just below 2R, and I was just about to take my first partial, and then it just completely turned around on me, and I got stopped out at break even. I do bring my stop loss to break even after I pass 1R because I found that if it does come back around after already hitting 1R, then it generally will stop, not just past my entry, but it'll usually go to a max loss, so I don't wait for that. The second trade, I did go long again because it came back above this VPOC line, and unfortunately this time it did not. It did not run as much, and I ended up taking that trade out a little bit early. My hard stop was at the bottom of this candle, but I took it out early because again I didn't want to take a max loss on that trade. And the thing I'm most proud about this is, as you can see here, there are two trades that didn't work out, and I didn't get hyper focused on this. I didn't overtrade this. I just basically walked away from this particular stock at the time because I said, if it runs on me, as you can see, it eventually did kind of push up. I was okay with that. I wasn't going to overtrade this and make some of the mistakes I've made in the last couple of days. So I was pretty happy about that, despite the fact that obviously these weren't profitable trades. So after that, I did go back to Snap. And what happened was, so this is the 5 minute chart. This was that initial trade that I did on the 1 minute opening range. And here, once again, so what happened is I saw this hammer candle, and it formed this hammer at this, pre-market level over here. So, this was a really strong indicator for me. And what happened was I kind of stalled, and I got in late on this particular trade. And so what happened was what I should have done is I really should have gotten in at the break of this hammer candle, or even when it held above this pre-market level. Unfortunately, I got in a little bit late here, and this is where I got in. And once again, uh, I got a little bit jumpy and I got out. I got out early because my stop loss for this trade was a little bit tighter. I actually put my stop loss right below this pre-market level. So as you can see here, even though I got out a little bit early, it got really close, and I really should have just trusted it and left it because it never would have stopped me out. And look what happened. Huge run up. So, again, it was just that was another losing trade. So at this point, I was definitely in the red for the day, not by a ton, because like I said, I've been kind of, I hadn't taken a full stop out, full 1 hour loss on any one of these trades, but they were definitely starting to add up. But overall, though, I felt very in control of my trading, which is why I said, I felt really positive about the trades I took today, regardless of outcome. So, okay, so where am I at here? I'm just kind of referring back to my notes. So since I was already red on the day at this point, to avoid getting a little emotional and starting to potentially trade bad, I stopped trading for a little bit. And sorry, 1 second. I stopped trading. I took a break, and I stopped trading for a bit. And while I was watching, I saw a couple of setups, and I was a little gun shy, and I missed some moves. So I'll talk about those because when you're trading well and your mind is right, these are great setups that and potentially are very profitable trades. So the first one was sorry. Oh my goodness. I completely forgot to jot down which ones I was going to go over. I believe it was on ACB? Let me see. Yes. So let me back up here a little bit. Okay, so this is the 5-minute chart on ACB, and what happened here was, so well, I watched this consolidate down at this level. This is the S3 level. As you can see, it threw a hammer here on, oops. It threw a hammer here on, decent volume, and then it threw this doji. And as it consolidated on this level, I was watching for it to break above this level here. And or if you want to be really conservative, you could have waited for this pivot point, but this level I think was a key level here. And as you can see, it threw this hammer, and it did break above that level and continued to run up. And this really would have been a nice trade, but like I said at the time, I didn't want to jump prematurely into anything, although I was kind of watching this. Another one was Workhorse, and like I said earlier, I did look away from this after these first two trades that didn't work out, and as I'm let me just see here. As I mentioned, this did eventually, make that move up, and there was this hammer here on higher than average volume. And had I taken this at the break of this S2 pivot level right here, I would have been able to catch a really nice move up. But it definitely shown that it was holding above this S3 level here. And once it put in this candle, it would have been a solid place to get in. But like I said, at the time, I was okay with missing out on these because I really wanted to make sure that um, the next whatever trade I took was a really, really solid trade. So, all right. So my next trade was on pins. So pins, as you can see, really, really sold off in in the morning. And what I saw here once again was I saw this indecision candle on higher than average volume, and then I saw it throw this hammer candle on you know once again higher than average volume, and I thought, you know what, this would be a solid time. I mean, there's no, the volume was not as strong as, I would have liked to have seen here. It's far from climactic, but I definitely felt that after this move down, this might be a good indication that this was ready for a decent pullback or retracement. Maybe not a full reversal, but who knows? I did see that there was quite a lot of ask. There was a huge ask here at this $83 level, and anyways, I went long after the break of this hammer candle, and as you can see, so that's where I got in. I took my first partial above 2R, and then I took another partial here, and then I took another partial here. I held on to 30% of my position at that point because I really wanted to see how this price action was going to interact with $83. If you can believe it, I think it got to 82.98. Never touched that 83. And what happened was, and this will happen sometimes, I was talking about this in the chat room with someone. Once it got to that 82.98, whoever it was that had the, I mean, there was almost 500,000 shares there at 83, and they pulled the order. And what that did was, so it acted like a wall, and then it just created this waterfall. And I would have gotten out here, but I really thought that because of this, you can see this 200 SMA here on this 5-minute chart. I thought, you know what, it might just test this and then really push back up. It didn't, and there was also a huge bid down here, so it came back as a bit of a liquidity grab and came back for that bid. And as you can see, I got stopped out. So although it was a profitable trade, unfortunately, I didn't get the max out of that trade. It would have been, and I held also because had it, absorbed that, those asset 83, there was nothing above this to really stop this. And it really could have run up I was hoping maybe up to the opening, the opening price up here, but unfortunately didn't, stop me out. And, it is what it is. Now, what I did do after that was you can see this high volume here. Once it kind of it seemed to bounce and it didn't seem to wanted to test this, the low of day, I did go long again. And I got up to 1R and I brought my stop loss to break even. Unfortunately, it didn't break above that, held, and I got stopped out of break even. So at the time, that was my 6th trade for the day. I was flat. After this winning trade, I was actually flat for the day. I would have been perfectly fine with the day ending there. And that's what I told myself. But as I've talked about, I think in the past, because I was flat for the day, I left the door open. I continued to watch the markets, and I left the door open for potentially taking, another couple of trades if I saw a setup that really, really, looked good to me. And, I was cautious with that because it is Friday, and we tend to have a significant, much lower RVol relative volume, particularly in the afternoon on Friday. And I was looking around, and I really didn't see much of anything. And I really have made a conscious effort to not want to trade stocks with that are trading within a range. And the only stock that I felt had a good chance at potentially a decent run if it reversed was Pinterest. So it as it approached. I started watching this again as it approached this low of day, this low of day level here. And as you can see here, let me zoom in. So it never tested this low of day. And, I found that interesting. And when I saw this, so I should say that, although I'm playing a bit of a retracement and reversal here, it wasn't, my ideal setup that I normally look for, but I did take along on this this engulfing candle. Maybe I should take a look at, maybe I saw a little bit better of an indicator on the 1 minute chart. Sorry, let me just pull out here, because I don't really believe I would have taken the trade strictly based on that. So here the engulfing was a lot more apparent. So what I did see first off, so now this makes a little bit more sense. I saw this hammer candle on extremely high volume here, and that's when I really started to watch this. As you can see, it did push down a little bit further, but when it did this engulfing candle and this significant push up on, relatively, a little bit higher than average volume. Average volume is about here. Obviously, it's nothing compared to this huge volume here. But once I saw that, I thought that this had a really solid chance to really do a decent pullback. So I went long. Unfortunately, it chopped up around here and came back and stopped me out. And let me talk about this for a second, because I'm not disappointed with these plays here, but look, you can see I took another trade here, got stopped out here, and I took another trade here and got stopped out here. Now, this excessive trading, I'll call this, is not something I want to, see happen. But I felt strong about the move because there was liquidity on the level 2. The only thing when I went back and I reflected on this is, had I, given myself a wider stop loss here at the break, a low of day, and and then taken one of these positions and stuck with my my thesis here, because had this broken low of day, this this move was completely negated. Okay, it would have just continued to sell off. But because it held here, had I been here, set my hard stop loss at low of day, stuck to my guns, I never would have got stopped out. And even with this pullback here, I would have been able to ride this all the way up, instead of taking these. Although these are smaller losses, they're not full 1-hour losses. This is basically death by 1,000 cuts over the long haul, which isn't great. So anyways, I finally did so this after this stop out here, it threw this doji, and I was actually going to stop after this, but it threw this doji, and I continued to watch the price action. And this actually, even though it did end up being an upside down hammer, which made me a little concerned, this actually was a quick push up. And once it broke above this doji, I went long, and then it just shot back down again. I got a little bit worried, but this time when I put my stop loss on, I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to stick to my guns on this trade. I'm not going to move my stop loss. And I'm just going to see what happens. If I take a full 1-hour loss, that's it for the day. It isn't really going to kill me, because, I would have been fine with it. But fortunately, it held, and it really took, made a nice move up. I got my first partial over here at over 2R. I took another partial here, and I took another partial here because The price, you know, it had made some significant moves up. I saw the price action start to struggle, you know, at this significant VPOC level, and we were approaching S3, and I wanted to see it break above VWAP here. Now, to be honest with you, I was back and forth. I was going to take it all off here at $82 because that's a nice round number, and I would have gotten a really great move out of that. But you know, above, let me just back out here. Above VWAP, there was absolutely nothing there once again. And this really could have run up because if you look at this on the daily, so this had gapped up. Wow, what is going on here? So this had gapped up and like it opened here at just above $86 and totally sold off over $6 down to low of day, which was here at 79, you know, into the $79. That's a huge drop there. And, you know, I really didn't think it was going to sell off more. And I thought it really could have a serious push back up because it was positive earnings, which is why I thought if it could go, you know, get above VWAP, this might be a really, you know, a really decent trade. Now, I was down to my last partial here because it was going to be all out on my next partial. It threw this upside down hammer. It rejected VWAP, and I didn't want to give back too many more profits. I managed to get a full 3.5 R off this trade. So I took the rest off and figured, you know what, that was a solid trade to close the day. It put me into the green. I finished the day at plus, I was in the green, 2.2 R. Here's the P&L, my P&L for the day. And as you can see, you know, solid day on pins. 2R in the green for the day. Solid day to end a week where, you know, it's really been a bit of a roller coaster ride. So I'm overall red for the week, but finished strong, and I'm really looking forward to a solid week next week, mostly because today I felt really, really good about my trading. Had I finished in the red, I still would have felt really good about the day. And I think that that's something that hopefully you can take something from, because, you know, like I said earlier, you can trade like crap and be green, or you can trade perfectly and still be red. And I'll take that over, you know, trading poorly any day. So anyways, that's the recap for the day. I know it was a little bit long. Apologies, but hopefully the information was beneficial to you. You know, look, have a great weekend. You know, get some rest and relaxation so you're ready to fight, you know, get in the battle again on Monday. So thanks so much for tuning in. As I always say, plan your trades, trade your plan. I'm AJ on Day Trader Boomer Bust. Catch you on my next recap.